All right, Revelation 13. Then, as I stood on the sand of the sea, I saw a beast rising out of the sea with 10 horns and 7 heads, 10 diadems on his horns, and blasphemous titles on his heads. The beast I saw resembled a leopard. His feet were like a bear's, and his mouth like a lion's. To him, the dragon gave his own power and his own throne and great authority. One of his heads looked as if it had been slain and killed, but the deadly wound was healed, and the whole earth went after the beast in wonder, worshipping the dragon for having given authority to the beast, and worshipping the beast with the cry, "Who is like the beast? Who can fight with him?" He was allowed to utter loud and blasphemous vaunts and allowed to exert authority for 2 and 40 months. So he opened his mouth for blasphemies against God, to blaspheme his name and his dwelling, that is, the dwellers in heaven. He was allowed to wage war on the saints and to conquer them, and also given authority over every tribe and people and tongue and nation, and dwellers on earth will be his worshippers, everyone whose name has not been written from the foundation of the world in the book of life. Let anyone who has an ear listen. Whoever is destined for captivity, to captivity he goes. Whoever kills with the sword, by the sword must he be killed. This is what shows the patience and the faith of the saints. Then I saw another beast rising from the land. He had 2 horns like a lamb, but he spoke like a dragon. He exerts the full authority of the first beast with his presence, causing the earth and its inhabitants to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. He performs amazing miracles, even making fire descend from heaven on earth in the sight of men, and by dint of the miracles he is allowed to perform in presence of the beast. He seduces dwellers on earth. He bids the dwellers on earth erect a statue to the beast who lived after being wounded by the sword. And to this statue of the beast, he was allowed to impart the breath of life, so that the statue of the beast should actually speak. He has everyone put to death who will not worship the statue of the beast, and he obliges all men, low and high, rich and poor, freemen and slaves alike, to have a mark put upon their right hand or their forehead, so that no one can buy or sell unless he bears the mark, that is, the name of the beast or the cipher of his name. Now for the gift of interpretation. Let the discerning calculate the cipher of the beast. It is the cipher of a man, and the figures are 666. 14. Then I looked, and there was the Lamb standing on Mount Sion, and along with him 144,000 bearing his name and the name of his Father written on their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven like the sound of many waves and the sound of loud thunder. The voice I heard was like the harpists playing on their harps. They were singing a new song before the throne and before the 4 living creatures and the presbyters, a song that no one could learn except the 144,000 who had been ransomed from earth. They have not been defiled by intercourse with women. They are celibates. They follow the Lamb wherever he goes. They have been ransomed from among men as the first to be reaped for God and the Lamb. And on their lips no lie was ever detected. They are stainless. Then I saw another angel flying in mid-heaven with an eternal gospel for the inhabitants of earth, for every nation and tribe and tongue and people. He cried aloud, "Fear God and give him glory, for the hour of his judgment has come. Worship him who made heaven and earth, the sea, and the fountains of water." And a second angel, followed, crying, "Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great, who made all nations drink the wine of the passion of her vice." They were followed by a third angel, crying aloud, "Whoever worships the beast and his statue and lets his forehead or hand be marked, he shall drink the wine of God's passion, pour out untempered in the cup of his anger, and shall be tortured with fire and brimstone before the holy angels and before the Lamb. The smoke of their torture rises forever and ever, and they get no rest from it. Day and night, these worshippers of the beast and his statue, and all who are marked with his name. This is what shows the patience of the saints, those who keep God's commandments and the faith of Jesus. Then I heard a voice from heaven saying, "Write this: Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from Henceforth, even so, it is the voice of their spirit. Let them rest from their toils, for what they have done goes with them. Then I looked, and there was a white cloud, and seated on the cloud one resembling a human being, a golden crown upon his head, and a sharp sickle in his hand. And another angel came out of the temple, shouting aloud to him who sat upon the cloud, Thrust your sickle in a reap. The time has come to reap. Angels' harvest is now ripe and ready. So he who sat upon the cloud swung his sickle over the earth, and the earth was reaped. Then another angel came out of the temple, and he too with a sharp sickle. And another angel came from the altar, he who has power over fire, and called loudly to the one who had the sharp sickle, Thrust your sharp sickle in, call the clusters from the vine of earth, for its grapes are fully ripe. So the angel swung his sickle on the earth and called the clusters from the vine of earth, flinging the grapes into the great winepress of God's wrath. Outside the city was the winepress trodden, and blood gushed out of the winepress as high as a horse's bridle for the space of 200 miles.